Heat waves, droughts, terrible air quality, wildfires, more pandemics. I have anxiety about climate change. This is our new world. What are we going to do about this? I urge you to help teachers teach climate science in every class. The more people learn, the more people will do something. More field trips helps students interact with nature and love it. From my standpoint as a 10-year-old, I want to live, and I want my children to live, and their children's children. Will you please protect our future?
My name is Jake Toomey. I'm the president of my school's chapter of Sunrise, a youth climate activism group. My reasoning for dedication to the cause of climate justice is simple. The climate emergency is devastating our planet, and every day that passes warrants more drastic change. This climate disaster sometimes makes me feel hopeless. For years, activists backed by the scientific community have pressured world leaders to help stop pumping of greenhouse gases into the air we breathe, but were silenced by profit, greed, and ignorance. If we don't act now and act drastically, the results will be catastrophic. I believe that if everyone was educated from a young age on this matter, we'd have no political problem with stopping climate change, and this resolution is a step in that direction. To fully inform a generation from their youth about the largest problem facing them will, without a doubt, mobilize and energize them to make changes. The generation that will be growing up into a world selfishly destroying their future deserves to know what's happening and how they can fix it.
Opportunities and hopes and dreams will be taken away from young people who deserve to live in a world that provides for them the way they want to provide for it. The science is clear. There's no time to just wait for the issue to work itself out. The only way to truly reach the next generation of young, deserving global citizens is to immerse them in the issue completely. We can set the stage for a new wave of activism and change seekers by establishing a curriculum that motivates, encourages, and informs students in all areas of the climate discussion. The hope is that even just a little more exposure to the issue through a climate literacy plan will plant the seeds of urgency in the minds of students as they continue to grow in a world that is slowly dying around them.
Climate change will affect everyone sooner or later. For us, that's sooner. Many people have already lost their homes to wildfires on the West Coast worse than we've ever seen. Sudden drops in air quality are no picnic either. Lifespans are certain to be shortened. If anything, we have a right to know what's killing us, and we deserve a chance to stop it. Significant education on climate change in schools is necessary, and that is absolute. Right now, teaching of climate change is often limited to science classes, but the subject ties now into history as well. The film An Inconvenient Truth is 15 years old, and it's not getting any younger. Students should get a broader understanding of what's happening in our world today, and knowledge on climate change should be included.
Older politicians have continued to ignore climate change and have left it up to the youth to protect the earth for future generations to come. The thought of Earth no longer being sustainable for future generations is scary and approaching soon. The climate conditions have continued to worsen over the years, slowly becoming unlivable and uncomfortable. The constant stress over worrying about our future is not healthy for students. Sometimes I'm unmotivated to work because why work for a future that will not become a reality? I have had positive outdoor field trips that have allowed me to bond with my classmates and teachers and created a comfortable environment for the school year.
I love being outdoors during school, even if it's just outside the classroom. I love the change of scenery. I want the kids to learn it first, then I want the kids to teach it to the adults, because we don't have the 10 to 20 years for the kids to grow up and take over.
I believe we should be learning about climate change more than we are. If we take it more seriously here at Marshall and more grade levels come together to learn more about the harmful effects, it would be a lot easier to move on from there and figure out what we can do as a community to improve climate change and make a difference.
I believe that students should learn about climate change because our planet is being harmed. Our world is getting hotter. You are never too young to learn how climate change is affecting us. Climate change is a topic that can be included in our daily learning, like history, math, science, and English. This will help all students have a better understanding of what climate change is and learn how to help make a positive change towards climate change.
Instead of science being the only subject where a student usually encounters climate curriculum in school, it would signal the importance of this issue if a student were to encounter climate lessons in all subject areas throughout their K-12 education in developmentally appropriate ways. This way, a student can witness many adults that understand the cost of inaction and ignorance to our students' well-being and lives.
My name is Rabia Casson-Clay. I'm an LAUSD educator, a member of the UTLA House of Representatives, and the mother of 2 future LAUSD students. We must teach our young people climate literacy because it is their human right in order to prepare for adulthood. I feel this keenly for my own 2 children, as well as for the students in my classroom. In my social studies courses, we study the variables that shape historical events in order to better understand our present and to shape our future. Current social studies standards fall short by addressing climate only within the overly broad scope of current issues. This resolution would create the space and resources for teachers to bring climate in earlier and more often. This work also addresses the urgent need for more social and emotional learning in our school communities. It supports the restorative justice framework that LAUSD has committed itself to, and it celebrates the voices of our students. To dream what the future might be is the purpose of teaching.
I'm Matthew D'Alessio, a professor at Cal State Northridge and the lead writer of the State Board of Education's Framework for Science in K-12 Public Schools. The new next-generation science standards that are described in that document require some pretty big shifts towards interdisciplinary thinking and branching out into relevant and timely topics like climate change. I work with districts around the state on implementing the new standards, including working with hundreds of our teachers right here in LAUSD. So I've seen the challenges with implementing a bold new initiative like LAUSD's Climate Literacy Plan. Teachers tell me that they can't do this alone or as an add-on to their existing obligations. And the districts that have been most successful are the ones that have invested in their teachers. They provided compensation for teachers to work on professional development during the summer. They provided a dedicated staff to support the teachers and scaffold this process and organize it year-round. And they've created a culture of collaboration across the district that really embraces change. The results, though, they're inspiring. Students and teachers come to class knowing that they're learning about topics that matter to their lives and to their future. So I urge you to invest in your teachers and provide the infrastructure to make this happen. Match the scale of resources that you allocate to the scale of the climate change problem.
Good afternoon. In the midst of COVID, for the district to start work on deepening our students' learning about climate crises, that's leadership. Thank you. This resolution opens a closed door, lets in fresh ideas, and starts new relationships. Students are relieved when education addresses their real fears and gives them skills to meet them. Teachers will be supported in getting kids outdoors and healing. Teachers will be respected as each grade level cohort and department begins to determine ways to teach this planetary moment, ways that are true to their discipline. Kids will see parents and others stepping up to advise them and be a part of the process of making climate plans. Kids will learn responsibility by seeing us in action. Many individuals and organizations support this resolution, and support continues to flow in.